Hey everybody, Greg here, and it's time for another unprofessional sounding podcast from the Reviewer Roundtable. Joining me is Victor
Hello.
and Ryan. And
Ryan is currently still having troubles with his, either with a microphone or Skype or something like that. So he will be cutting out from time to time. We'll
we're
we'll
still
try
trying to
to
still
get this all
trying to
set up.
trying to fix that. You there, Ryan?
Yep.
Yep. But there you go. All right. Cody and Seth are not here yet. We're not entirely sure if they're going to show up. If they will, we'll add them on as we go. So, how have you guys been doing?
Pretty good on my end. I've been working on October's reviews and got those all done. Looking towards the future.
Cool. How you
Uh,
doing?
Still working on just got another one soon, so look forward to that.
Uh, Um, I'm doing. I'm tired. I just finished it. I did. I spent most of my weekend sleeping after a 7 day work week. After we did our inventory process. A lot of counting products into the wee hours.
Oh Lord.
Uh,
We've my store has been sold to some new people. As far as I know, they're not going to change much of anything, as far as I know. But they decided to hold a meeting type of like set up a meeting place to do all the new paperwork that we'll all need to sign. Gave us two possible meeting places at two possible times. Pick which one is better for you. They decided one should be 10 miles from the store, and the other should be about half an hour or so from the store in a direction no one ever goes. And so yeah, there are five people who are going to go to Slinger, and everyone else is going to go to Cedarburg.
presume Cedarburg's the closer one.
Yep.
Oh, well, is the holiday season particularly busy for Piggly Wiggly?
Uh, yeah, generally it varies at weird times. Days you'd expect would be really busy aren't. What I'm really worried about is, in fact, the Packer season. That
Huh?
is that is the big issue.
Ah,
Packer games throw people into a tizzy.
mm,
Last year, because actually it's weird because last year it was fairly quiet, and they did pretty well. They did very good.
well, luckily the nearest team to where I live is Oakland, so I'm cool.
Uh,
No one ever gets excited about Oakland, but unless it's Oakland baseball, because there's now a movie out on Oakland baseball called Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt, who apparently doesn't know anything about baseball, according to his interviews.
oh,
This is officially the first movie my grandpa has been interested in about 25 years. So he might actually go and see that in a theater. He I should probably warn him about things like the presence of color and sound. But I really hope he wasn't in earshot for those insults. No. Other
yeah.
things in theaters, uh, Drive. I just since I got everyone's attention on the internet, all three of you, uh, Drive is a damn good movie, and if you've got the time and the money, you should definitely go see it.
I'm gonna have to hold off on the review of the one movie I've seen in the last 2 months in the theaters, but I can tell you it's bad. But
Mm.
now I saw a preview though for a movie called Abduction, which stars the shirtless guy from Twilight, one of them. And it is so the Bourne identity. It's like it's the Bourne movies ripped off almost entirely, except instead of being, I don't know what he's supposed to be in here, like a clone or something like that. But yeah, guy who doesn't know exactly who he is, on the run from the people who apparently know who he is, exhibiting abilities he didn't know he had. It's like, yeah.
So it's kind of like from what the trailers I saw. It's kind of like 85% Born Identity, 15% I Am Number Four,
Oh yeah.
something like that. Mostly Born Identity, but a little bit of that magical science fiction fantasy stuff that we can thank Twilight for.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wish they would do one of those movies and have it star someone with facial expression. It would be interesting to see what the person's emotions would be in that situation. But we have Matt Damon and we have what's his face.
Speaking of people in Twilight with facial expressions, I actually uh, last month I flew to Atlanta to visit my sister, and we were spending an afternoon with not much to do, and so we turned it to Cartoon Network, and apparently they have this new Mad Magazine cartoon airing on Cartoon Network, and I was actually kind of surprised at how good it was, considering it was on Cartoon Network. Not great, but I mean it was pretty good, and they did this whole skit on uh, Kristen Stewart, and it was like Kristen Stewart's gloom soup. It's almost as painful as watching Kristen Stewart try to smile. So
I liked Panic Room.
yeah, that was David Fincher, right?
Yeah, her first movie, I think.
Mm.
You know, there's something weird about the internet because, you know, as you guys bring up stuff, I'm like tap 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 tap. And it's like I have the ability to see to look up information I've never seen before almost directly in my head. I mean, I have to use my eyes and my hands and everything. But am I the only one who sort of notices that's really weird? Instant information.
This is sure.
I'm still not used to my hands yet, so I'm not used to the internet.
Uh, I probably would not properly exist without the internet. If I didn't have the internet, I probably would be spending 95% of my time in a library because I spend a lot of time, way too much time, uh, basically self-educating.
Mm.
I I pretty much don't go a week without reading up a lot on a certain subject, a certain historical or scientific or political or philosophical subject. So, and then when I'm done with all that, I can go watch cats on YouTube. So,
Yeah, I think one thing the internet has done is it's made people masters of or you know what do you call that when someone knows everything about um random subjects.
experts.
Experts. Thank you. See? I've been doing this all day. I forget basic words. Long multi-syllable words will pop up, but basic words for basic usage evading me all day. This is not the best day to do, to do a podcast, I'm thinking.
Well, well, you're in luck about getting a hang of basic words because according to the front page of Google, it's Jim Henson's 75th birthday.
I just spotted that actually.
Could I don't think this. I don't think the Google banner is actually working.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to make noise, but they're all just opening their mouths and staring.
A lot of these monsters are disappearing every time I reload.
Oh,
Like right now, I only have the blue monster on the far left and the bald guy right next to him, and I'm missing the four other monsters. I don't think this thing is totally glitched out yet.
by the way, anyone remember the book? The monster at the end of the book is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the
Oh
yeah,
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 best
and then
book ever.
they should adapt that into a movie somehow. I think if you got Liam Neeson to play the lead, and then he finds out at the end of the movie that the monster was him all along.
I had a friend who actually wrote a kind of an autobiographical essay around the monster at the end of the book. He basically he basically uh, he basically took each page of the book, wrote a wrote an autobiographical essay to each page, and then it's hard to explain. I would have to show you, but it's like it's like
Was this for college, by the way?
he did this on his own because he's that kind of guy, and it's like on one page you got Grover worrying about the monster at the end of this book, and underneath it is about how he was traumatized by squishing crickets in Mississippi, and uh, then long diatribes about lung problems, and meanwhile Grover is trying to brick up the pages. I'm gonna keep us from turning the page to get to the monster at the end of the book. That was just kind of the way he rolled.
Reading that book is actually something of a sadistic exercise.
It is.
It teaches kids to be more callous towards their fellow man or monster. Oh, and when I searched for a picture of the cover, it said I wrote in monster at the net of the book.
Monster at the...
I'm dyslexic guy. Anyway.
We were discussing this earlier. A lot of children's literature is really, really sadistic.
Death by Newberry Middle.
That's right.
The dead dog books.
It's basically a genre of itself.
Yeah.
Dead dog books. Old Yeller, Where the Red Fern Grows.
Where the Red Fern Grows is, everyone says Old Yeller, but Where the Red Fern Grows is the better example of it because one dog dies of misfortune, the other dies of heartache.
Yeah, I know.
That's perfect. It's like I would not be a reader today if I hadn't discovered R.L. Stine because of those books. That it threw me off of reading. I was always a reader, but then I went into middle school and they started making us read those, and I was nearly thrown off of books.
I know R.L. Stine, his Goosebumps, and the stuff he did before that. I always kind of thought that kind of cheap children's horror literature was kind of like the successor to like the old pulp horror comic books, like the old Tales from the Crypt comic books. Only I tend to enjoy those comics more than I ever enjoyed any Goosebumps books or Goosebumps wannabes.